Hi everyone, this is Valerie McNeil from Ginger's Eclectic Life, and today I'm doing a tutorial on how to make a decoupage envelope from book pages. So here's what we're going to make today. It's an envelope I made from a piece of paper like this, a sheet from an old music book, and I decoupage a napkin, and here's the final result. It's a really sturdy, almost leather-like feeling envelope. So today I'm going to show you how I did that and a few other ideas that came out of this in making envelopes. I make scrapbooks and junk journals, and I have a lot of old books and old book paper that I've accumulated. So I found this is a great way of using up those book pages and putting them to good use instead of in the recycling bin. So what I've done today, I'll just put this aside, is I've taken, like I said, a page from an old music book. And what I've done is I've taken my paper cutter and cut off the rough edge where I tore it out of the book. And so what I'm going to do is I have some lovely envelopes I got in a trade from Nissa Bird. And her YouTube channel is Scrappy Cauldron. I'd encourage you to check it out. It's a great channel, and it showcases the work she does with her junk journals on there. So what you do is you take your napkin. Now, napkins, even though sometimes they seem like one layer, usually have a few layers to them. What you want to do is add the layers of the white napkin, remove them. And so you're just left with the top single ply of the napkin. So this one, sorry about the camera, it just looked like this, and I tore it apart. It can be really tricky to tear these off, to find them. I'll show you. This is another napkin I got from Nissa Bird from Scrappy Cauldron. And sometimes you just have to get in there and you have to crumple them and play with them a bit. And sometimes I find even if I tear it a bit, I can get at the two layers. So this too feels like it's one layer, but it's not. It's two. And I've just got the edge apart from that. And then you gently peel the two layers apart. So you're left with just the top bit. And that's what we're going to use to decoupage onto the envelope. So this was an example of how to do that. I'll just put it aside for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this napkin and decoupage it onto the sheet of paper. Today I'm using Mod Podge, and the stuff I'm using, I hope you can see that, is the gloss one. And it's a water-based sealer, glue, and finish. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Mod Podge and cover the entire surface with it. So I'm going to spread it out so it's not too thick. You don't want it too thick because then it'll increase the chances of your napkin tearing. And it will also take a longer time to dry. So I'm just gonna, sorry about my camera moving. It's moving as my body moves. And I'm just going to make sure I get the entire page with a thin layer of Mod Podge. Okay, when I've done that, I'm going to take my napkin and carefully line it up with the corner, because this page isn't big enough to use the whole napkin, and I want to be able to save the scraps for other projects or to put on other envelopes. So I'm just going to get that wrinkle out, just gently fold it down. I tend to get a lot of wrinkles in mine, but you may have more patience and a steadier hand. So we're just doing this quickly. So what we're going to do is spread that down. Then what you're going to do, you can either let it dry a bit so it's harder, or you can do it now. I'm gently going to take some more Mod Podge and put another thin layer over the top. So you get the idea. I'm going to cover the whole top just like I did with the bottom with the Mod Podge medium. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry. Or you could use your blow dryer or heat gun, depending on how hot it is, to dry this. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And I have one that I did a little bit ago. It's all dry and ready. I Mod Podged the same as what we did. Mod Podge the napkin onto the piece of scrap paper and then Mod Podge over top to seal it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut away the excess around the edges. This is easier to do when your Mod Podge has dried. So I'm just gonna, I'm not a perfectionist, so sometimes my edges are a little uneven, but you get the idea, and you can be as perfect as you want when you do your envelope. Now I'm going to save this because it has some neat little pictures on it, the Eiffel Tower for sure, butterfly, some writing, and I can reuse that to decoupage onto other things or other envelopes that I have. So the part making it into an envelope is really easy, guys. So what I'm going to do is flip it over. I'm going to fold both sides together and I have about 3/4 of an inch overlapping there. And you can use a bone folder if you have one to smooth down. I'm just going to use my fingers here. Okay, so what I did is folded one in and then the other over top with about 3/4 of an inch overlapping. And then I fold the bottom up. You can do as much or as little as you want. You're going to need enough for glue because we're going to hold this down with glue. And this is the bottom of my envelope. I like to make the top flap a bit bigger. And I fold that down. So now we're going to move the excess pieces that we don't need for our envelope. So what I do is I unfold it. And you'll see there's the 4 corners here along the fold lines. I'm going to cut those out. Just take my scissors. So this is a quick and easy project. And then what I'll use my envelopes for is in my junk journals to put little goodies in or in swaps that I'm involved in. If anyone wants to do like a junk journal swap or a ephemera supply swap with me, please put something in the comments section and I can get back to you and we can rearrange a swap. I can't do one with everyone, but I love doing swaps and I get such great supplies like I did in my last one from Scrappy Cauldron. Okay, so now we have our envelope here. So what I'm going to do now, maybe I'll overlap it this way so you can see more of the Eiffel Tower. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to the edge here. Hold that down. I like to go over it with my glue tube. And now that the Mod Podge has dried, it's quite as sturdy. Then we're going to glue the bottom flap. And I'm using Eileen's Original Tacky Glue. I love this stuff. It's great for all my paper crafts. It's my best friend. You gotta work a little bit to get it out of the tube. You have to squeeze pretty hard, but it's worth it. The end results turn out really good. Okay, so one last step. What I'm going to do is I decided I wanted to edge my corners. So I'm using my edge punch. So I'm just going to round them off. This is just a little craft punch. And there, just like that, I've got a little envelope that looks great with minimal effort. So I find doing it, Mod Podging the napkin to the page beforehand is a bit easier if you want the image completely over. However, you could just take one of the envelopes you make and, like I said, cut out pieces that you have from other napkins, or thin paper is good for Mod Podge, any images that you have. And you could just cut that out and Mod Podge it to another envelope, which I've done. I'll show you some of the other envelopes that I made with this the same technique. So there's one I've showed you already that I've done. And you can do them in different sizes. You can cut your sheet down. It's the same folding process for all the different, you fold your two flaps over and then you fold the top and the bottom and cut out the excess corners. So here's a smaller envelope that I've done. I did it upside down, of course, but I still like the result. And this is one I made from the same size book page, but I just decoupaged that Eiffel Tower that I cut out and some other bits and scraps of the envelope, and I did a bit on the front too. And then I took my ink pad and kind of dirtied it up a little bit so it looks more vintage. And you've got a really nice sturdy envelope there. So I've used different pages from different books that I have. For example, I have pages from an old National Geographic magazine. These make great envelopes. I've got some pages from an old atlas. So again, the procedure, not very complicated. Fold it over, leave about 3/4 of an inch overlap. Fold up the bottom, fold down the top, and then cut the excess corners out. So pretty easy. And these ones, I made some, oops, I apologize for that. I made some of these envelopes out of atlas pages of different sizes. I used some smaller book pages to make envelopes, and some of them I've decoupaged. Others I haven't. They make cute little envelopes to tuck into tuck spots in your junk journals. There's another decoupage. And this is out of a Grey's Anatomy book. And here's some other bits of the scraps of the napkin that I used. This one I really like. It's I folded the paper in a different way from a book. And I made a long kind of, it's almost like a coin envelope. And decoupage that Eiffel Tower image, and then another piece of the napkin on here. So I used up all my scraps, and I feel good about using up all my old book pages. This is a page from a National Geographic magazine from the 50s. So I made a few of those. These are all the same size pretty much, but you can make them, you cut the paper into different sizes. We've got some atlas envelopes. And then another idea that I had yesterday, a 12-year-old friend of mine gave it to me. She suggested that we paint watercolor on 8.5 by 11 sheets of printer paper. And we did that. We just laid down the paint in any way we wanted. And we made a bunch of envelopes out of that. Same procedure, you take your paper and fold it over. And so we made some envelopes that I think turned out very cool. I really like these ones. Very colorful. So, and all different colors. You could paint a picture if you want. I'm not quite as talented as that. I just put the color on the paper and have fun with it, playing around with mixing colors and doing kind of like ombre colors. So there you have it. That's my tutorial on making decoupage, making envelopes, but making decoupage napkin envelopes. And then you have a variety of different types you can make. With that, and using the same idea, you can use some painted paper that you paint into envelopes and any type of book page that you have. So I have a whole stack of different size envelopes here I'm going to use in my journals. If you want to find out more or watch more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, Ginger's Eclectic Life, on Etsy, so you'll get updates when they come available. I welcome your questions or comments. Please leave those in the question. And if you're compelled to like this video, please do. Again, thanks for watching. This is Valerie McNeil from Ginger's Eclectic Life. Have a great day.